Hello everyone. Previously we had discussed about the dependency, functional dependency. Today we'll be discussing about the trivial functional dependency, right? So we had written the same code previously as well. So we'll be continuing with the same. So now what is trivial functional dependency, right? So if A was completely dependent on B, then we set that one as functional dependency. Basically, this is similar to this one functional dependency itself, but it is trivial here. When I say trivial, so if A is dependent on A, so I can just write it in this format. Just give me a second here. So if A is completely dependent on A, if A is completely dependent on A, or if AB is completely dependent on A, if or AB is completely dependent on A, it is said to be trivial. It is said to be trivial because here the right side is already a part of left. This A, right side, whatever we have written, this is already a part of left one, AB, right? So same thing here, this right side is already a part of this one, left side. So this is said to be trivial, right? So this is nothing but we call this term, we just have given a particular term to this known as trivial functional dependency, right? Trivial functional dependency. If A is dependent on A or AB is dependent on A, then it is said to be trivial because the right side is already the part of left. Then the right side is already part of left, right? So this is the simple definition. Now we have already seen the query. The same query we will be making use of, right? So for the last one, we had written select student ID, student name. So we had got the output Sarah, if you remember, right? So the student ID 2, which was functionally dependent to the student name Sarah, right? So here now, let me go with this one. I'll just paste this one. This is just for the trivial example. Select student ID from the student. Select student ID from the student. So see here, student ID is dependent on the student ID. So this one, student ID itself is dependent on the student ID. Means this is always true. So this is a trivial dependency. This is a trivial dependency, right? So the output that we need to get here is 2. The output that we need to get here is 2. Let me execute this one. So we are getting could not show student ID, line number 26. So let me delete this one. Now let me execute this one. There is an already student in the database. Let me do one thing. Let me cut this one. Let me come here. Let me refresh this one. Let me come to tables here. So let me delete this table database. I mean table from the database, right? So or I should have written the query to drop that one. That is fine. So let me paste this one entirely and let me execute this one again. So now this is for the this one. What do we call? Functional dependency. This is for the this output is for the functional dependency to Sarah, right? So here this one we are selecting the student ID from the student, right? So this two Sarah, this one ID, right? Student ID, what we are getting here. So this one, this student ID is dependent on the student ID, means two is dependent on itself. 2 is dependent on itself. The student ID, the same student ID is dependent on itself. This is always true. So it is a trivial dependency here. So this is a trivial dependency here. So the input is same as output here. I mean output is same as input here, right? So it reinforces that knowing student ID gives back the student ID. Knowing the student ID gives back the student ID, right? So this is the simple example for the trivial functional dependency. Now we are done with the trivial functional dependency part. I hope this part is completely clear, man. Next let's go with the candidate case. Next let's go with the candidate case. For now this is it. Thanks for watching, guys.